name's Tammy Horn-Potter. I'm the Kentucky State Apiarist, and I am out here on the family farm at our apiary in Fayette County. Many people want to know what they have to be a beekeeper. And so what I like to tell people first and foremost, if you have never kept a hive, then don't spend a single dime on equipment or bees until you have gone to a local bee association for a full calendar year. Once you've had a chance to meet people, meet local beekeepers, then one of the things that you want to invest your money in will first of all be an EpiPen. I keep my EpiPen in a first aid kit that is easily identifiable, and I always have it handy. As many times as I've been in hives, and I used to work in the queen industry in Hawaii, I've been a beekeeper now since 1997. You know, body chemicals can change with our age, and so I always like to have one handy. You also don't know if there's someone in the area who may be allergic and does not know that. So first and foremost, invest in an EpiPen. If a physician doesn't want to give you a prescription for this, I have found having liquid Benadryl is a nice thing to have handy too. So there are a couple of different options, but make sure that you address that first. So having said that, then in terms of the tools of the trade, to me the most important one starts with my veil. It took me many years, and like I said, I had to go to Hawaii and work in the queen industry before I finally found a veil that I could see inside beehives with. And so what I'm wearing today is just very simple. It's just a broad brim hat and a very light veil. And then I find if I need more protection, I always have my jacket, which I'm going to wear. A little tip is to put your arms in first and then put your veil on. And a lot of times I can work bees just like this. I find that the ventilated jacket is a much better investment for my money, but you know, for many people a solid jacket may be a little cheaper choice, but just have something that you can graduate up to if you find that the bees are getting a little defensive. So you want this veil because bees like to, when they want to defend their territory, they want to go where there are carbon dioxide trails, which is going to be your nose and your mouth. So a lot of times when I have my smoker going, I can work bees in just a short sleeve shirt, sometimes shorts. So the next thing I always have on my person will be a hive tool. This is not a very expensive piece of equipment, but I do recommend that beginners go with something that's a little bit more expensive. It's called a J-hook tool. This will help you go between the frames of a beehive a little bit more efficiently. And if you're working more efficiently, then you are reducing your chances for getting stung. So this is the second tool that I always have on my person, the first being my veil. This is not fancy equipment, but I like to remind people to get a smoker can. This one is made at the Walter T. Kelly Company in Clarkson, Kentucky. But I've seen some people use a popcorn tin. I've seen some people have other devices. It's not fancy, but there are accidents that can happen from smokers that are too hot. So don't skip that. This is 50 bucks. It pays off in the long run. Lighting smokers. Why do you need a smoker, first of all? The researchers have two theories on this. Honey bees have two stomachs, and one of those stomachs is called a honey crop. And so when they smell the smoke, they will slurp up honey and get that crop full. Well, that makes them less likely to sting, kind of like you are at the end of a big Thanksgiving meal, and all you want to do, you've got your belly full, and all you want to do is watch football on the couch. Same thing a little bit with honeybees. Secondly, you are a walking collection of chemicals. From everything from the soap that you washed your hands with this morning, to the toothpaste that you brushed your teeth with, to the detergents that you washed your clothes in. You have a number of different chemicals on your person. So smoke can help mask or neutralize those chemicals. So one of the very first things I'll do once I have the smoker lit is smoke my hands, because I'm wanting to get the smell of soap off of them before I start working a beehive. You just take one sheet of newspaper, fold the bottom of it into a ball, leaving enough of the newspaper to kind of form a chimney. Now we are going to light this ball and put it into the chimney of the smoker. Now as those flames come up, I'm slowly puffing the bellows and adding my fuel. This is simply untreated landscape burlap. I get it in a huge roll from Home Depot. Untreated is the key word. You don't want to have strong chemicals in your smoker. A lot of times I'll use pine needles, because pine needles have oil in them, so they're quick to light and they make a nice cool smoke. I find for many beginners, they simply don't take their time when they're lighting a smoker. So they'll use a propane torch and get this thing hot, and there'll be sparks flying out of this. Well, that just makes the bees mad. So I like to do this. I realize that it is slow and it is old-fashioned, but it works for me. You do always want to keep in mind your surroundings when you're lighting your smoker. For instance, when I worked in industry, it was kind of natural to be in the work truck and roll out of the work truck and immediately want to light your smoker underneath the gas tank of the truck, which did not bode well with the company owner. So here, we're on gravel. There's some rainwater here from the night before that if things got out of hand, I could put the fire out, and just keep that in mind. I think sometimes when you've been a beekeeper for a while, you can get a little complacent with those details. And I've been around long enough, unfortunately, to have seen bad things happen when you do get complacent. So that's why I'm talking about that. So with my veil, with my hive tool, with my smoker, I'm ready to go into a beehive. I'm using the smoker once again because I'm giving the bees a little bit of a chance to slurp up some honey in that honey crop. And I've also smoked my hands so that the smell of the smoke can masquerade the soaps that I have been washing my hands with this morning. And by smoking my hands, what I mean by that is just like this. I'll also sometimes smoke my clothes, but that's all I mean. And so what I'm seeing with this frame is looking great for this time of year. I'm seeing some young larvae. I'm seeing multiple generations of bees. I'm seeing some drones, which are the males of the hive down here. They drone comb kind of looks like Cocoa Puffs. Here are some drones. They are fat. They are the couch potatoes of the hive. They do not have a stinger, so no problems here. The larvae is pearly white. The other thing that I'm noticing here, just being an apiarist, I'm looking at the fact that these bees are relatively calm. They're not fanning their wings. This tells me it's a good indicator that this hive has a queen in it and that they are happy with her. If I were to have opened this up and their little butts were in the air and they were fanning their wings, that's an uh-oh moment. That means that they could be queenless. And so I have to keep looking. But right now, it's what I'm not hearing. I'm not hearing a roar that, you know, similar to the sound of a third grade classroom when the teacher has left the room. It's that kind of roar. I'm not hearing that. I'm not seeing their butts in the air. This tells me that they're queen right.